I'm here. Hello, welcome. Sorry, I'm a little late tonight. Not much, what, 4 minutes? Thank you, Melissa. I knew you'd be here. And Hornback, you guys, you're here, I know that. I knew you guys would take care of it for me, welcome people in. I'm sorry, I'm running a little bit late tonight. It was a long Sunday. Family coming in, all kinds of things going on. And we are here live on Sunday night. Let me get my microphone set. Get it kind of in the way. There you go. And we're off and running tonight. Welcome to see y'all. Let's see who's here real quick. Oh, great. Of course, Hornback, my buddy's here. Melissa Jennifer Jones. Today is your birthday. Oh, hell. We're going to have to sing happy birthday to you, aren't we? You guys get your voices ready. We're going to sing happy birthday here in a minute to Melissa Jennifer Jones. How old are you, honey? 42? Drummond Man. Hello, Doc, from south of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm very familiar with that territory. I was born and raised around St. Louis, but not no more. I live here in balmy, rainy Florida. A lot of rain here today. A lot of storms. Yep, Hornback, he's from Kentucky. That's correct. So, Drummond Man, welcome. Welcome in. We're glad to have you. Definitely always glad to have new people to join us. Oh, let me open this up a little more. Yeah, we heard about Dennis. We're covered. We'll be covered. We'll get started here in just a minute. Get a few people coming in. I always have to give it a couple of minutes here once it comes on live. And wait a minute, I'm lost again. The old man ain't what he used to be. Yes, that's for sure. Yes, it is a sad day with Dennis. I got some information on Dennis, some pictures. We'll talk a little about Dennis and Dr. Hook, Shel Silverstein. We'll talk about all of them. That whole group. We're going to try to work it out. I can't say yet. Family's in right now. Grandkids be down next weekend. It just depends. It's hit and miss. I can usually make it. Like I said, I just barely got in and got this started tonight. But mainly in the summer, I have some things. I do some things around here. I've got some other things going on. I've been recording music and things like that, and that takes a little time. I don't do as many documentary videos as I used to. So that kind of helps. Without doing the documentary videos, it gives me a little time to do these extra, the lives and everything. Scott Nickerson, my buddy, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hope things are going well for you. Kenna, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday night. And there's my buddy, Tommy O'Damarok. Good to see you. O'Damarok. I know. That has to be, that's Russian. We're going to talk about a Russian here tonight, too, a little bit. A Jewish Russian. Let's see if I caught back up. All right. That's good. Do I got a guitar here? Yeah. Hang on. Melissa Jennifer Jones, we're going to all get together. Let's get in the right key. And we're going to sing happy birthday to Melissa Jennifer Jones. She says 66, but I'll bet you it's 46. I'll pretend it is. Let's see if I can still do happy birthday. I don't know if I can or not. It's been years. What do you think? What's a good key for it? Give me a key for happy birthday. Happy birthday. How about this? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Melissa Jennifer Jones. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Melissa Jennifer Jones. I'm sure from everybody here on the River Dock Sunday Night Live group, we hope you live as long as you want to, and want to just as long as you live. All right. You're very welcome, my dear. You're very welcome. So let's all wish Melissa Jennifer Jones, a happy birthday. All right. I guess it's time to get a drink. Get down to let's get into a little music here first. Hang on. My glasses are all dirty. I got smudge prints on them. You can see me. I'm blind as a bat. All right. Got a drink, got water, got a smoker. And yes, we're going to talk about Dennis LeCourrier, or LeCourrier, however you want to pronounce it. It's French. He was a founding member of Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. Anybody ever see Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show? I have. And you'll never guess where I saw him at. I saw him at Six Flags over Mid-America. And they're just as goofy as the day is long, and I had one of the best times there. Listen to them guys. Dennis Ellis, my buddy, how you doing? I know, I understand that bouncing back, buddy, and don't you worry about it. I appreciate you just stopping in and saying hi. You know that. Dennis died yesterday. I know he quit touring in 2025. He was having kidney issues. He was into kidney failure. I don't know if he had kidney disease. I don't know. Renal failure, I have no idea, and they really haven't said. He may have had some forms of diabetes, things like that. It just depends what happened. But either way, he's gone, and he was, the way I always put it, Ray Sawyer was the face kind of Dr. Hook, but Dennis LeCourrier was the voice. There's no doubt about it, them goofy farts. And Ray Sawyer, of course, was the guy with the eye patch. But Dennis, there in the middle, he was the voice. This guy had a beautiful voice, and he had a special kind of voice. I mean, the first hit was Sylvia's Mother. And if you listen to that song, I think it came out, 1972, 73? And it's a song about a guy trying to bring back love get her hold of a love on the telephone, and her mother kind of gets in the way. And Dennis's voice cried in that song while he was singing. I mean, you could really, really, really hear the emotion in his voice. He was a very good singer, fantastic. He sang many of their hits because they had. I don't know what you would consider that group. Country. They even played bluegrass. They played some disco songs. They had pop songs. They had, through the 70s, they had 6 or 7 pretty good sized hits. That first album, we'll talk about it here in just a minute. I'm trying to think the songs, they came out with. Sharing the Night Together was one. When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman, Better Love Next Time. There's some more, and that was like around the late 70s there. I can't, just so many different styles of music them guys came out with, and they was hilarious on stage. I mean, all that goofy stuff. You know, there used to be a video on YouTube. I haven't seen it, but them guys, they was on doing a show. I believe it was over in Europe. I want to say Amsterdam or Denmark, something like that. And them guys took off their pants and paraded and marched across stage. And there used to be a video on YouTube. YouTube let it fly. I don't understand. They really did. But Dennis was the main, the main singer. Ray Sawyer, the eye patch guy, he sang their biggest hit cover, the Rolling Stone. And he everybody looked for him. But Dennis LeCourrier was Dr. Hook, really. He was more of a songwriter and a musician. I'm not saying they was all good musicians. They was a good band. But Dennis was the vocalist. Yeah, definitely. Dennis did write songs. He wrote a lot with Shel Silverstein. And I'm going to talk about Shel Silverstein here in just a minute. Because let's see, and they recorded a lot at Shel Silverstein's boat he had, this big party barge. Yeah, it don't seem like that long ago. Yeah, 72. I think I seen him in 73, so I would have been, 73. I'd have probably been in 9th grade when I seen him. I saw him. Seen, saw, is saw. That's the proper English. I don't have Captain Creepy here to correct my grammar. I miss him. I wish I had him here to really pronounce Dennis LeCourrier's last name. He does the French real good. It's LeCourrier. Something. Now, I start sounding Italian when I try to get French. But that's it. But anyway, their first album that had Sylvia's Mother on it, and what was the other one? Carry Me, Carry, some of them songs, was Sylvia's Mother was written by a gentleman named Shel Silverstein. Does that name ring a bell with anybody? Shel was actually, a lot of people used to think he was black, but he wasn't. He was Russian. He was a Jewish Russian, is what he was. He spent a lot of time down here by my house, where I live in Florida, but he was in Key West. And you can see the kind of thing he is. But he owned a houseboat, a barge. It was a barge that was built up. I think the thing just sold recently or something for $700,000. But back then, it wasn't worth that kind of money. I think they redid it. But there's videos of Dr. Hook on that boat doing that. They did let's see. They recorded. I can't remember when they recorded, but they had a recording studio in the boat, and Shel wrote. He wrote. I don't know how many songs. I'll tell you one. Anybody know a really big song that he wrote was Johnny Cash's hit, "A Boy Named Sue." He also wrote that song. Him and Dennis wrote it together. Dennis LeCourrier and Shel Silverstein wrote a song that Waylon and Willie, I think Willie recorded it. It was on a Waylon and Willie album, and then Bob Dylan recorded the song. I can't think of the name of it right off the bat. I might have to look it up. The song's called "A Couple More Years." Listen to it sometime. It's really a great song, and Dennis co-wrote on that with Shel, and they did it. I'm having trouble, man. This thing's running real slow on me, and I don't know what it is. But anyway, That's a pretty cool picture of Dennis there on the left. Like I said, he was the voice of Dr. Hook, and he had a beautiful voice. He was 76 years old. He was born in 1949, I believe. And Shel Silverstein, he passed away 1999, 2000. But yeah, he had his floating home, and there's videos on YouTube of Dr. Hook and them down there playing on that. I actually covered one of them songs. That was one called Marie Laveau they did on that. I don't know if Shel wrote that or not, because it's been recorded by a few people. On the countryside, Bobby Bear recorded it, and Dr. Hook recorded it in theirs. Sylvia's mother, yep. Yeah, Shel wrote a lot. He wrote with a lot of people. I mean, this guy, I think they said there was one thing he wrote 15 songs in 3 days. I mean, this guy was writing all the time. He was just a creative, and he wrote some of the most comical songs you ever heard. You know, like I said, well, Boy Named Sue's one that really went big. But he was something. But anyway, I guess we can tell Dennis LeCourrier, tell him to rest in peace and thanks for everything, because he was really, really, that Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show was just a fun group. There's no doubt about it. When I don't know if anybody's ever seen them, but if you ever got to one of their shows, they just got up on stage and had fun and sang and played, and the people loved them. And, you know, they was always half drunk or half stoned, but they was really good. They had great songs, and they really, audience participation was great with them. On Rock Con, yeah, they did a rock concert. They did that one song. I remember that. I think that she was You're in Love with a Beautiful Lady, because Ray Sawyer, Eye Patch, he played congas on that. It was Dennis singing, but Ray sang on it too. They sang some harmony together. I mean, Ray could sing. He just didn't have that real beautiful voice that Dennis did. Yes, it was Dennis Ellis. It was a great time, wasn't it? It was a great time. A great time for music. Well, that's what I wanted to say about Dennis. If anybody else got anything they want to say, please feel free to, just put it there in the comments. We look through them and everything. I got one more article I want to talk about, and after that, then we can open it up and talk about anything we want to. But my next item of business, and I'm going to shift gears here, we're going to talk about Max Carl. If you're not familiar with Max has been the vocalist with Grand Funk for about 25, 26 years now. And he just recently, let me see, I got it here. He has officially retired from touring and performing effective immediately due to a recent medical issue. He just come right off the road. I don't know what the issue is. Nothing's come out or anything. Max was a singer. He was a vocalist too with 38 Special for a while, and had a hit. That song, Second Chance. I don't remember when it came out, but he was the lead vocalist for that. Max sang quite a bit, and he had a real good voice. I don't know exactly what's wrong with him. Nobody said or anything like that. But here's what gets to me. Yeah, Hold On Loosely is one of their songs. Max didn't sing on the recording of that I know of. But he may have. I don't think so, though. Here's the thing. This is what kind of irks me, though. And you know I'm a big fan of Mark Farner. And I understand they have their differences, and that's cool. You know, Don and Mel own the name. And Mark's out playing with his own band, sounding as great as ever. I just heard a video of him from March of this year. And guy still plays and sings great. I don't understand why they don't invite Mark back. I really and truly don't. I mean, how deep or how long is it a grudge? I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't understand, because they could have the original Grand Funk. There's a lot of bands that tour nowadays, and they can't have the members back because they've passed away or they all got sick, you know, and old, and they couldn't do it. Mark Farner can still do it, you know. But what they've decided to do, which I think is really it's kind of a cheap shot, really. They have announced that Grand Funk will continue their Still Shining tour. They're still out playing 4 pieces. And Don Brewer and the keyboard player Tim Cash in there are going to take over the lead vocal duties. So you got 2 sidemen. Now, I'm not saying they both can sing. Tim Cashin sings very well. You know, he was a sideman with Bob Seger and somebody else. I can't think of it right off the bat. But he's never been a front singer, and Don Brewer is not a front singer. And they're going to keep touring and just play 4 pieces now since Max left. And I am sitting there going, you know, that's kind of a cheap shot. I mean, these guys, they get pretty good money. Their tickets run, depending on where they're playing, but you want to get decent tickets, it's $50 to $100 to see them. I'd really like to hear these 2 guys try to carry this band and sing "I'm Your Captain" and you know, "Heartbreaker" and some of the songs like that, because I just don't think, what can I say? I don't think they'll be able to carry it vocally unless they start cheating like the Eagles did. Yeah, I wish they would put their differences aside. I really do. They should have Farner with them. Go out there. They'd make a hell of a lot more money than they're making now. There's no doubt about that. You know, there's just no doubt. They would make, they double their ticket prices easy. You know, where they're making $100 now, they'd be making 200 for them higher price shows. I was just looking down here. They play down here in Clearwater at this one venue down by my house. And I was just looking. Willie Nelson's going to be there on Tuesday. And Willie's tickets are right in the ballpark. You know, front orchestra pit in the center, you know, around $100. And they go all the way back down to like $25 or $30. And Travis Tritt's going to be there too. And his prices are about the same. But if they would have Mark Farner with them, I mean, they're going to double their price. There's no doubt. But you know, right now, I don't know if Mark would leave the band that he's got now. Have you heard his band? They're really good. They sound fantastic. Got great vocals. Mark's still singing and playing good. Got a keyboard player, a bass player, and a drummer, and them guys smoke. I don't know. A lot of things over bands' names, you know. And there's a Max with what's the guitar player's name? Can't think of his name. He just took over for Bruce Kulick. Bruce Kulick got come off the road in 2024. This guy played with a bunch of other groups. He's a great guitar player. Mark Chatfield. 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 Mark Chatfield. He, great guitar player, but this is what they're going to have. They're just, Max is going to be gone. And they're going to have Tim Cashin, the keyboard player, and Don, the drummer, doing all the lead vocals. And in a way, I think that's kind of a cheap shot to the fans. Because Max Carl's a very good vocalist. There's no doubt about that. So, what do the fans do? Yeah. But that's what they're going to get. And I don't think it's fair. I think they ought to have another lead vocalist come in, and it should be Mark Farner, but it wouldn't be. They just won't do it. Because they're out on tour right now. I forget where they're at, but they got a lot of venues booked this summer. But anyway, folks, Hornback, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it every time, buddy. Thanks for coming in early. Thanks for sticking around. And thanks for trying to help out. I was just running a little bit late. I figured you and Melissa, you guys are here most often. You guys could welcome people in if I wasn't here in time to do it. I'll catch you next time. Peace out. God bless y'all. God bless you, your family, and everybody. Well, that's exactly my sentiment in a way, what I'm trying to express. They're looking at themselves and they're not looking at the fans that bought them albums. I mean, I had probably every album Grand Funk ever wrote. And they are one band. If they had Mark Farner with them, I would pay big dollars to go and see them. Because they can still do it. That's the sad part about it. There's bands now. I mean, look, Rush is out there, and Rush sounds good. But they don't have Neil no more because they can't have him. He's gone. These guys are going to dick around, and they're going to waste a good chance to bring Mark Farner back and put, they'd basically have almost the original they would have the original Grand Funk, except Tim Cashin's on keyboard, and they didn't have Craig Frost. But it would still be the three that started it, which is Mark, Don, and Mel. Ryan Hall, how you doing, my music-in-law brother? Good to see you, man. Hope everything's going good. How you feeling after you had knee surgery, I think you said, or something like that? Hope you're feeling a whole lot better. Yeah, the people, musician, the audience. They lose sight of that. I think they really do. Hang on, I'm going to remove some of these and get so here I come. I'm back. I'm large. I'm going to run real quick here. I'm going to run some of these pictures off and delete them. Just because this thing is just running so slow. I know what it is, too. Windows 11 is trying to do an update, and I won't let it until I get done here tonight. And I got a kitty cat scratching at my door. I need to see who that... Hang on. I'll be right back, guys. Give me a minute or two. And who do I got? Look who's here. It's Molly Dolly. Molly the cat. And she's not happy because she can't get to her exact spot here. Come here, fatty. Oh, you're so fat. You are. Look at it. Look at you. There you are on camera. Say hi to everybody. All right, I'm going to put you down here. You can't get up on the corner. You got to stay right here until I get done. Then you can... Her rightful spot is here in front of this monitor I got on my left. But right now, there's this little mic stand sitting there, and my water's there, and my vape, and things like that. So she sits here in the cat stand. You can see her right here behind me. Hang on, I know what she wants. Give me a second. Here you go. Come here. Have some treats. There you go. You know, it was kind of a sad week around here. That, you know, I got more than one cat. I got a lot of outside cats. They're mostly all strays, but they come around and we take them and have them spayed or neutered, and then they clip their ear and they give them their shots. Well, when I moved from another place down to here about 6 years ago. And there was this old cat. Boy, he looked rough anyway. And we just started calling him Buster. And Buster was here. He'd come and, he'd come hang out and he'd eat. He'd be around for a month or two, and then he'd take off. And you might not see him for 2 or 3 months, and then he'd come wandering back in. Well, about 3 years ago, he came wandering back in. He could barely walk. Boy, he had one leg he could not use, a front leg. And I was going to try to get to him, but he's kind of feral in a way. And I didn't want to pick him up. Molly, what are you doing? You going to stay there? Okay, you stay back there. And he went over and laid down, and I got up the next day, and he was gone. I didn't see him. That was been about 3 years ago. And I thought, man, I don't know if he's going to make this or not. Well, he did. He showed up a month later, and he was doing pretty good with that leg. But about 2 months ago, he come in, and I started feeding him, and he had trouble eating. I'm pretty sure, well, I know it was teeth. But anyway, old Buster, I don't know, he's probably 10, 11 years old, he's a big-headed tomcat, battle scarred up and everything. But he got to where he couldn't eat. He'd run in pain and stuff. So I dug into my funds and took him to the vet. We took him to the vet here. And they give us some antibiotics and pain pills. And they did some blood work, and they said they would see if they could remove the teeth. Well, that's going to be expensive, but you know what? This guy, man, he's tough as nail. I was going to fork over the money and have them bad teeth pulled. Well, the vet came back down here and said they couldn't do it. He had some other diseases and stuff like that. So he was outside. He never came in the house or nothing. So we had pain medicine. We was putting it. He was basically just drinking cream and eating food that was just really watered down. And we fed him Wednesday morning, and he left, and I haven't seen him since. And he was looking really, really rough. I think he went where he hung out, and I don't think he's going to be back this time. So I think I lost him. But I tried anyway. All right, so there's my cat story. We got Molly behind us. Let me get back to where my things are. Oh. Well, I'm trying to. I think I'm pretty close. Hey, Jerry McCoy. Thanks for stopping. I appreciate it. Good to see you. You're doing better. That's good to hear, Ryan. I'm glad. 3 surgery on the same knee in 11 months. Holy cow. You know, my father-in-law, he had a knee replacement surgery. They did both of them. And they did the first one, and man, he was up going to town, and everything went fine. The second one, he ended up with 3 surgeries on that knee. It kept getting infected. They couldn't get it clean. He had a hell of a time with that knee. I wish you well, man. I'm glad you made it through it. The wooden structure in back of me? Oh, I don't know. You mean the dresser there where you see my back? That's kind of like a dresser with I don't know, it's got a mirror and shelves on it. It's piled full of junk. There's all kinds of, there's everything on it, including Molly. Molly, where you at? Molly, how did you get there? Molly's over there in behind. See, I got another computer, my recording computer, where I record music's over there. And I don't, Molly, and she walks across my mixing boards and pushes all the buttons and everything. No, that's just well, you can probably see yourself in there. The mirror. It's just piled full of junk. There's foot pedals on it and my multimeter. There's all kinds of things back there. This thing holds everything. It holds everything. Now, Molly, see, Drummond Man says hi to you. Yeah, we always say a prayer for Ryan. I always keep all you guys in my thoughts and prayers and everything, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Oh, she's a handful. I've got more cats than you could shake a stick at. I got a soft spot in my heart for cats. They're all strays. I got quite a few of them here in the house that I've kept. I got one. I call her Lady P. You got to see. Anybody know what a ragdoll kitty is? It's called a ragdoll kitty, and she's dead. I don't know if I could get her in here or not, but when you pick a ragdoll kitty up, they go totally limp. They just like that. And she come messing around here, and she's just she's a big old fuzzy thing. But you just pick her up, and she goes and flops. Yeah, while I'm looking, it's raining real hard. This is a stormy season, too. I really need to get my big jackery in here. I don't hear no thunder. We had lightning and thunder today. Hey, there's sometimes, that's another reason when I was, Melissa, that I was talking about, I have to watch what I do. Sometimes I get them bad electrical storms, and I won't leave these computers plugged in. You know, I got some of them on backups and things, but I don't want them hooked. I mean, I lose power here all the time. I've got 2 generators. I got a 3600 watt power station and 3 or 4 little 300 watt power stations here, because I lose power all the time from lightning and wind and stuff. So I'm kind of careful about running these computers with that, with them storms going. So I kind of pick and choose. I think you remember last year toward the end of spring into summer, before I backed off, I had a couple of times I couldn't make it because of just, one time it was storming real bad, and the second time I lost power. Yep, that's what it is. It's a dresser. Ragdoll. Yeah, they did. Ragdoll kitty. I don't know if I can get her to come in. I show you what she does. If she's walking by and you pick her up, she just goes totally limp. 5K. Well, yeah, there you go. Let's put it this way. I don't know how many is out here by my house, but I know my Chewy bill is very expensive. But they all, there's some of them, they stay on my porch. Some just comes in and eats and leaves. I don't care. I feel bad for them. I said if I ever move, I've been looking for different places down here to get some ground. I'll take them all with me. They could hang out there. I buy some ground and stuff. They don't bother me. I'll see if I can get that ragdoll cat. Hang on a minute. I'll show her to you. Hang on. My wife's going to see if she can find her, because God knows where they're at. They hide all over the place. They have spots. I don't know if she'll find her or not. If she does, I'll show her to you. You'll like her. She's a cool cat. Wait, Molly wants out, I think. Yeah. There you go. Now look at her. See how she's just flopping? She'll just flop like that. She's looking, though. What do you want? You don't want to leave me yet, do you? Huh? This one, we call her Lady P. But she'll just, like this. You put her down, she'll just hide. And she just lays there, and you can pet her, and she's soft. Yeah, you're a good girl. She climbs on your lap when you're watching TV. She'll climb on my wife. She just lays on her and sleeps on her. She's a great cat. And she came here, and she stayed on the porch for about a year. And then last winter, it got cold for down here, and she ran in, and she never left. She wouldn't leave, so we just left her in the house. So she makes number 6 that we got in the house, Marty. So we got 6 of them now, and a couple more will come in and eat and leave. What's this? Lady P. All right, we're gonna put you out. You ready to go? Tell everybody bye. Molly, you gonna go out? She's gonna stay in. But that's some kitty stories. But I like kitties. Kitties and guitars. I got a song I'm writing. It's called Cool Cat Daddy. I might have a couple songs next week. I don't know. And like I said, I'm not positive. We're going to keep shooting for Sunday nights if we can. Sunday nights is always best, it seems like, for everybody. I get people bouncing in here and everything like that. The cat whisperer, yeah. Yeah, she is. She's sweet. She's a good cat. The cat whisperer. No, I'm the cool cat daddy. I'm cat daddy. I tell them if they don't walk the line, I'm going to take their food from them. You know how cats are. Yeah, there you go. Kitties and guitars. I got this one pair of cats that used to come here. I haven't seen them in a while. But they was gray. Totally smoky gray color. And so I named them. There was a male and a female. And I named the female Zoe, and the male was Zane. So I had Zane Gray and Zoe Gray. And they come around. I seen Zoe here a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago. She's a real tiny little female. But Zane, the male, I haven't seen him in 3 or 4 months. But there's times I won't see him for 3 or 4 months, and then they'll just show up. They'll be sitting there like, in the cat stands at my front door, like, hey, can I have something to eat? And I'll feed them. because that's what keeps them around if you keep feeding them. My dad taught me that, but I can't help it. It's hell. You know, I used to be a starving road musician. I know what it's like to be hungry. Kitties and guitars. Yeah. I got a couple more songs I'll be working on this week. I haven't been doing the documentary videos right now. I probably will try to get one out this month. It just helps keep the channel in good graces with YouTube and everything, because I don't like I said, if you notice, there's no ads on my lives. I always try to take them ads off. And if you ever come on here and I'm doing a live and an ad comes on, tell me, because I need to double check. Sometimes they do things like that, and I just don't want ads popping up while we're trying to have a good time. Beer and back roads. My buddy, how you been, man? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You know, there's a song. Did you ever hear it? If you get a chance, it's a really good, it's a country song, but it's a rocker. It's called, let's see. I don't know what the name of it is. It's by a guy named Ricky Van Shelton. And it goes something like, I got the radio blasting, I got the windows rolled down, I'm a-cruising these back roads on the outskirts of town. Something like that. It's about cruising the back roads on the outskirts of town. It always reminds me of that song every time I see you, bud. Busy with yard work. Yeah, I don't do a lot of yard work anymore. You know, I moved into this community here, and they take care of it. Wow, a blast from the past. Ted Gibson. Gosh darn it, good to see you, man. How you been? How you been hanging? It's been a long time since I've seen your name pop up. Health doing good? You feeling all right? You know, it's the way YouTube is in a way, though. If you don't check in with the channel, then they don't push the videos back out to you or anything like that. What's this? I got to bring this up to read this, Ryan. They're so cats, and you pet and play with the cats while you have a Coke and coffee. I'll be damned. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's cool. I never heard of that. All right. Well, you know, I can buy that. I can buy that. I always figure, you know, if I get up and get both feet on the ground, it's a damn good day. Especially when I get up to these ages, you know. Well, that rain's really coming down here. We've had a lot of rain today. I would guess we've probably had probably an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches of rain today. We really got a drenching. Yep, that's it. That's what it is. I was trying to see. I was trying to think. I told you I did that. I recorded that song that Dr. Hook did, and I'm trying to think if I got it. I know I got it on my YouTube channel. I get a copyright claim on it every time it plays. Yeah, I took my I run my generators, like I'll put them away in November, and then I fired them up in February, and I'll get out there and start them. I got 2 generators. They're smaller ones. I don't keep real big stuff. I mean, I've got a Jackery 3600. I don't know if you ever heard of one of them, but it's a power station, and it can be charged on by a generator or solar panels, and I just recharge mine with a generator. I can hook that 3600 up to my ice box and my little deep freeze. And if I don't put anything else on, it'll run them things for a week. So I got that, and I got a smaller generator, like a 1200 watt one that'll run. I got one of them air conditioners, them indoor, it's like an indoor air conditioner. I don't know what you call it. It vents out the window, and that's kind of a backup. If power goes down, I'm not going to try to run a central air. I'll just block a couple rooms off, and I'll stay in there until I get my power back. And then I got another 2600 watt generator that I use for charging the Jackery up, or we'll fire it up and we can watch TV. I mean, I can do everything, and everything I got here is battery powered. I even got battery powered amplifiers. All my tools are battery powered. And we just bought a few staples in the grocery department, so you don't, down here, the big problem that I don't think a lot of people realize, when a hurricane comes through, it'll take out power, and power will be out for a week. Okay, well, getting through a week is not really hard, or to keep a week's worth of groceries. But what people don't remember is after the hurricane's over, it takes time to get the power and the roads back up. Then everybody's out of food. Well, the trucks come into the grocery stores and delivers food. 2 hours, it's all gone again. It takes about 3 weeks for the stores to start getting back to normal. And that'll even happen, even if the hurricane misses, people will buy the grocery store out, and it'll take a week before you can go down and get a pack of hamburger or anything. So I always try to keep myself up to where I've got enough food that'll last a month here in my freezer and everything. And like I said, I can run it off that Jackery now. I just seen I did not watch it. I seen where he was on there. I got to watch that. Paul's still doing a good job for his age. I really like the way he sang. Yeah, you could. I had a bigger generator. I got rid of it, and I'll explain why. Not because I'm a cheapskate, but because gas becomes very scarce when a hurricane hits. Okay? Now I had a 4,000 watt, it was a construction grade generator. And that damn thing would go through 5 gallons of gas in about 8 or 10 hours when it's pulling the load. And these generators I got now, this 2,600 watt generator, its tank is just a little over a half gallon, and it'll run 8 hours with the load on a half gallon of gas. So in my little 1,200 watt, it's less than a half gallon. It'll run forever on a tank of gas. It'll run like 15, 16 hours on a half gallon of gas. So, I got 20 gallons. Let's say I got 20 gallons of gas. Well, that's going to last me a long time backing things up. But that's why I got rid of my big one, and I couldn't hardly lift it either. It was really tough. But it depends, if you're doing it for hurricanes, boy, you just got to remember things don't get back to normal just because the storm came through and you got 3 or 4 days of cleanup. Sometimes it takes a week to get people's electric back on. During Irma, I lost power for, I lost power for 6 days. And, but there was people on the other side of the street that was out of power for 11 days, 10, 11 days. And Irma really wasn't that bad of a hurricane when it got here because it come up, it come up the peninsula. It wasn't on the water and come in. It come up the peninsula. It cut in around Fort Myers and come up north to me. So it was on ground. So it wasn't that strong. But then we had Helene come through 2 years ago, and it was 75 miles offshore. But the damn thing was pushing water a certain way, and it flooded. Oh, it flooded all of like flood zone A down there. It flooded it all. I had to shut power down and everything for them people. So that was something. Yeah, I heard propanes are pretty good. Propane generators, they got their own. Propane's very efficient, and it's easy to store propane. I got a gas grill, which is something I would use to cook on, because I got an electric stove in my house, and you can't run that heavy them 50 amp stoves and things like that. Well, you can get a generator to do it, but it'll eat your gas up and run it down. But propane's very efficient. I got a couple of you keep propane tanks stored all the time. You can't store gas for a long time. Yeah, I've got a full tank of propane, a 20-pound cylinder out there, plus I got one on my grill, and that's enough to cook. And with my with that 2600 watt generator, I got like an electric skillet, or I can run a crock pot off of it if I want to. I just probably wouldn't do it unless I just had to. There's a lot of times if there's one coming and I know it's going to be pretty close, I'll make some food up. I may put like a big pot of beans in the crock pot and boil a couple of chickens and make chicken noodle soup, and then I'll put it all together and just freeze it. And then I know it's there in my freezer and I've got it all done. Do I ever get used to all that work? What work? I don't work no more. I used to work hard. No, I guess if you're talking about, my work around here, the stuff, no, it don't bother me. It's just time. Time, we take for granted the time that we got. And I see so many people that, as they get older, they waste a lot of time. Not waste time. And don't get me wrong, I take time too. When I get done, I like to sit around at night and watch YouTube videos or do something like that. But I know people younger than me, all they do is get up in the morning, they'll drink coffee, they'll eat breakfast, they'll walk outside, they'll look around, they'll go sit in the recliner and watch TV all day long. I'm going, man, I couldn't do that. I'd go ballistic. Yeah, I don't get flooded here, or never have. It would take a lot. Like I said, when Helene came through, we had an 8-foot surge, and I didn't even see water close to me. The work after hurricane, okay, I see what you mean. No, it's not really all that bad. I got tools here that can take care of things. Usually, it's just palm fronds and things like that. And if I would get one of them ones that took the roof off or something, I got insurance and things like that. Somebody else would do that. I ain't climbing on a roof or anything no more. I'm too old for that. But for the most part, it's just what's annoying about a hurricane. I've had a couple of them, like last year or year before last. That one Milton came in. It was just south of me. Came in there right in Tampa Bay. And naturally, it come in like about 9 o'clock at night. It started really picking up. And 6 or 8 hours, it just blowed. It's not like a thunderstorm. It just keeps going and going and going. And that's why I'm glad I got headphones. I just put headphones on and put an audio book in or watch a movie on my computer or whatever, plug into one of my power stations, because we lost power on that one about 9:30 at night. Well, see, with them power stations, I don't have to worry about going outside and trying to fire up a generator or nothing. I just plug into them power stations, and they get me through the night. So that's why I kind of use them. But no, the work isn't all that bad. Now, I've never been through a full Cat 5, but I'm not in the main. Remember, when you see a lot of the destructive damage from a hurricane, a lot of that is caused from storm surge in the water. I'm not saying that, don't get me wrong, the winds are bad. And when them things are blowing 100, 150 mile an hour, and they blow steady, so they start peeling stuff off. They'll peel siding, gutters, roofs. But they're not like a tornado. They don't explode houses. They just kind of blow them down slowly. But the main part of the destruction that you see with all the debris and everything, that comes, a lot of that comes from a storm surge when the water starts coming, just like a big old flood, and it will push stuff up. And I live about, takes me about 10 minutes through traffic to get to the Gulf of Mexico here. I'm probably about 3/4 of a mile from it as the crow flies. So it takes a lot to get water up into here. So yeah, I don't have too much work. Yeah. Now here's the thing. I've been through an F3 tornado, and I've been through a Category 3 hurricane. I'll take a hurricane any day of the week compared to them damn tornadoes. Them things are dangerous. I mean, them things are bad if you're in the way of them. An F3 tornado to me is more. I'm more scared of it. I really am. Them things can destruct. You see them big. When they show them F5s, like the ones that went through Oklahoma and things like that. That's some badass wind there. I'd much rather fight a hurricane. And the hurricane, the thing about it is, if you live on the water and if you got common sense, all you got to do is drive away. You got plenty of time to do it. Tornado, a lot of times you might have they put tornado watches out. How many people pay attention to a tornado watch? You don't prepare for it. Hurricanes, you prepare for it. Tornado usually comes in and they just blow your house hell, west, and crooked. Does Florida offer flood insurance? I'm going to tell you something. If I want hurricane insurance, and I don't live in a flood zone, but if I want hurricane insurance, I have to take flood insurance. I have to pay for it. I pay for flood insurance. And flood insurance costs me a little bit more than my homeowners does. So, yes. Nowadays, you have to have it. You have to have flood insurance if you want to be covered by hurricane insurance, which is really kind of screwy. Two things about Florida I will tell you. Now, housing is very expensive, and insurance of any kind, car insurance or homeowners insurance, flood insurance, is very high, extremely high, very expensive. Yeah, I seen a tornado. I was in Cheyenne, Wyoming one year and saw a tornado there. You can get tornadoes that way. We had one come in across here about 10 miles north of the house. It came off the Gulf, and, they call them a tornado. But like I said, I've been through some Midwest tornadoes, and these things that come in off the Gulf are, they're water spouts, and they hit the ground, and they'll snap a few limbs, and they'll blow your lawn chairs all over the place and maybe peel off a little bit of gutter or something, but they don't. Very few of them down here get in the strength to where they'll explode your house or anything. Yeah, I've been through quite a, let's see. The worst tornado I was through, I went and visited my brother. My brother was in the military, and he was stationed in Wichita, Kansas. and I went out there to spend some time with him. And there was two of them hanging out of that cloud, and they both touched down. Man, that was some devastating stuff when you go over there and see that kind of thing. You know, I had one when I lived out. The ones I had, I lived in Missouri. I owned a farm out by Jefferson City, Missouri, for a while, and we had one there that it just twisted trees and everything. I was fortunate it didn't. It just took some of the shingles off the roof of my house. And again, I had insurance. I try to carry insurance on just about everything. You know, even if it's just a little bit, even if I don't get replacement value on some things, I try to get something out of it. But down here in Florida, you know, just to get replacement value insurance, it's very expensive. Well, kiddos, I guess it's getting about that time. I want to thank you all for joining me on your Sunday evening. Next weekend is Memorial Weekend. I don't know what I have planned. I might try. I don't know if any of you remember, but I used to do what I called the mini doc marathon. And I would go live and play documentaries all day long. Now, I wouldn't be on camera all the time, but I would be typing, and I'd be working around here doing other things, and I'd be typing and answering people in the comment sections. So I may try to do that and see. Leavenworth, oh yeah. Sirens, yeah, oh yeah. Leavenworth, Kansas, yeah. That's up by that's a little west of Kansas City, ain't it? Or is it north of Kansas City? I don't remember. But anyhow, again, let's all wish Melissa Jennifer Jones a happy 66th birthday. Honey, thanks for spending your birthday evening with us. You know, that just, I appreciate that. Now, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you all came and spent some time with me, and you got to see Molly. She's still around here somewhere. Oh, she's laying over here on a table right now. And Lady P, she's gone. She's probably hanging with Mama or something and things like that. But we'll be back. Like I said, as summer comes in, storms, family, different things, I'd like to try to stay. Sunday night's always a fun night to do things. A lot of people, the weekend's over and they just want to hang out or something. And everything. You're very welcome. See, you guys make my day too. Like I said, without you, if you wasn't coming in, I wouldn't be here. And gives me somebody to talk to and something to run my mouth about. And you guys are more than willing to sit there and listen to me. I got some more irons in the fire. I got some songs I want to record. Hopefully next week I'll have a song for you that I can play. I played a couple last week. Thank you, Drummond, man. Appreciate that. What part of South St. Louis you from? I used to live southwest out toward Fenton. I don't know if you know where that's at. I was there for a while, and then I moved over to Illinois. I was born in Kirkwood. I'll give you a minute here to wish your happy birthdays and everything, and before I cut this stream off. Farmington, yeah, I know where Farmington is. When I used to come back from Florida, I used to come up 55 sometimes, and there was a buffet in Farmington. I always stopped there to eat before I got home. I can't think of the name of it, though. Yep. I miss Missouri. I really do. I can't say that. I miss a lot of my friends. I got a lot of friends there, especially a lot of musician friends, and I sure do miss them. All right, y'all. Ryan's, that's it right there. That's the name of it. I used to stop in at Ryan's all the time. I think it's set on the east side of the highway. It was pretty cool. Good food. So, this one sounds good right there. Night, everyone. Peace out. As I always tell you, be kind to each other. Be kind to people. Even if you're on the internet, you know what? There's people behind these names that you see on Facebook and Instagram, and they're real people. And sometimes they really get their feelings hurt. So try to be kind to people, even on the internet, and always in person, all right? And I'll see you next week. I promise.